Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Don't be such a square. Everybody who's anybody drinks.
Smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze.
How are we supposed to follow that?
To the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel.
My dog stepped on a bee.
And I ain't feeling anything. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything.
Brutal Monkey is right. All the uploading takes hours.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And now,
let's get around.
Impressive. Most impressive.
How we doing out there, fellow cannabisians? Good morning. Welcome to another Sauce Up Sunday. We are live on Kick, YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. And I hope you are enjoying yourself. Got up about 15 minutes ago, feeling real good. Okay, let me turn the tunes up a little bit. Got my little 7-Eleven coffee, got my cigs. I'm all ready to get busy, party it up, try to do a little something new to the background. I hope you notice. And, wrong corner. Up in the corner here, you can donate through PayPal and CashApp to get me to chug a beer, take a shot, or do a strikeout challenge, which is take a shot of liquor, hit the bong, hold it in while I'm chugging my beer, and then exhale. But you can also donate to support the show. Everything goes back into the show to make it better. Cameras, background. How's everyone doing out there? I hope everything is going great. Hold on, let me get to the chat because I'm missing some peoples. There we go. That's me. Okay, cool. Just jamming. All right, let me just do a little thanks for the message. Hello and good morning, everybody. Just chilling. I hope everybody is up and at 'em. Okay, let's see who's up in here. That's me. Now let's see what's up on YouTube side. Okay, up on the Twitch side. The Twitch side. Ooh, there we go. Now I should be able to see everything funkily. Oh shoot, that's right. I forgot to turn the volume down so I'm not hearing myself echoes. There we go. There we go. So feeling pretty good this morning. I hope everybody's doing well. I got a pretty decent show lined up for y'all. We're gonna go over some hash oil. Just learn a little bit more about that. Then on the flip side, I've got some horror hash oil stories. If I'm not mistaken, how to grow it We've got some, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be about organic nutrients in your garden. Then we're going to listen to some crazy edible stories, kind of react to that, laugh at that, hopefully. And then, of course, ending on a good note. Now, we got some stuff in the middle of that and everything, but pretty much it should be on a good note. Got up this morning, was feeling good. Looked at my clock. Got to go stream. Asked my wife, hey, I'm running out to the store. You want anything? Sure, get a coffee. Boom, so I come back in the house. And I can hear that the shower is on, but her towel is laying out in the living room on the sofa. Like, boom, got this one. All I got to do, pick up the towel, put it in the bathtub. Brownie point score. Get into the shower. Oh, I seem to have forgotten my towel. Boom, not that I'm here. Get you the towel, sneak it in there. No problems. Brownie point scored, as I said. Hear the shower running, open up the door, go to ease in and put the towel in. Oh, you're having a poop. Oh, sorry. Carry on, man. Get on out of there. But yeah, besides that, everything was on a high. Yeah, try to score some brownie points, and I guess I literally did, huh? Oh yeah. Got my Jammy Jams. I got all 3 beers lined up here. We got oh, you can't even see them because of the chat, my bad. We got my Hellas here. We got a Pilsner. And we got our Oktoberfest. Fixed body count. I see that's not accurate. There we go. Now the body count is accurate. Smoke my little cigarette. And get my caffeine up in me. Keep the show going. Got my something wicked pint glass. I'm gonna spare you from him. No, you know what? It's been a while since I actually did me a meal. I am gonna break out the hammer. And I don't know if y'all had saw, I released a post that pretty much, what was that, Friday? On Friday night. Last Friday night, that a tree basically fell over top of the garden. Now I got most of the like tree basically out of the garden, but for the most part, it's like all the sawdust and all the other little crap I got going on from cleaning everything up. Still have to, I guess, let everything acclimate. It's kind of muddy out there. So I'm gonna let that dry up before I go out there and start pressing in on the soil. That's kind of a no-no for natural no-till farming. Excuse me. But I'm hoping after I get out of here today and tomorrow, I can go ahead and get some footage done in the garden and kind of build up a little video for the garden vlog number 2. And I definitely expect this to be a good year. As I said, the only thing I lost was a Durban poison, but that's okay. That is okay. We still got strawberry haze. We still got skunk, number 1. We still have chocolate kush. We still have Panama red. We still got our dieselberry from last year out there. We got our original haze from last year out there. Took a couple clones, brought them back out. We got Yoda soda out there, which is, what is that? Merlot OG and Jawa Pie. And, it has some robust flavors. I grew it about 2 years ago, I want to say. Very, very robust flavors. Very pungent. They were very sweet. Hold on, let me, I'm having problems here.
You all right? Yeah, we can tell you're hammered. It's pretty obvious.
Worthy. Basically worthy. Got my maker's mark here. Got my little box of shots here. We all ready for the episode. And we're gonna pour this up in our little pint glass. Now I'm just doing this. I wanted to break out all three beer styles so you can pretty much see the color difference and get a real good look at how everything is. How light you can see through. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in front of my face so you can see me. So cheers, everyone. First beer of the day, hopefully, obviously. Cheers to all my fellow cannabisians out there. Everyone who loves growing, loves using, and loves supporting cannabis. Got my little J we gonna fire up. Because I do believe it is smoke time, right? Yes, it is. And I definitely did want to take a little break. First J of the day. First drink of the day. This should be excellent. Waiting to give everybody a chance to come up in here. All right. Dang, YouTube is really far back. All right. So what we're about to do now, we're about to go into our hedge video. Oh, man. I think I queued the video up, but knowing me, shoot. Let's just see if we got it. Where are we at? Nope. Nope. Ill prepared. So where we at? Where we at? Da 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 da. Somewhere in here. Oh, that's something about mushrooms too. Okay, we in the house. Where's the hash oil story at? I'm tripping. Where is this thing at? I wonder if I got it on the, I forgot to load it into here. Because I always seem to have problems doing that. Yep, now I'm going back up. Oh, here we go. Okay. Found it. I went right past it like a dummy. All right, cool. So that's queued up. Everything's ready to go. Yeah, I was just trying to give everybody a few moments to come in here and tell you pretty much how my day was going so far. Wasn't too bad. Like I said, the LST cage has basically saved my garden. I was talking about that last week from all the little debris and leaves and branches from the fallen tree. So I'm gonna go out there now that we've had our little portion of rain. Throw my little mycorrhizae, do a little JMS out there, kind of get everything ready for this June, because that is the biggest growth that a plant is going to receive during the growing season outdoors. Little bit of May, that's iffy. You might get a little bit of cold weather, which we got, a little bit of rain, which we definitely got. June is supposed to be the most abundant growth. Then about what, July, I want to say 11th through the 15th is when flowering starts. You've passed the June 21st summer solstice. And what, every 2 minutes you lose an hour of daylight. Coming in from the winter, you gain 2 minutes of sunlight per day. So then we got August, which is all flowering. My fault. Try not to cough on camera. That's pretty loud. I don't want anything to spike. What else do I got on? Okay, yeah, I was getting a red light of death. And then, of course, September, I guess the end of October, first week, second week of September, you'll be ready to harvest. At least your 9 weekers. I think I got about 1 or 2 of those out there. But for the most part, I'm dealing in the like 10 to 12 week territory with most of the strains out there. Except for, I believe, the Chocolate Kush and the Yoda Soda. Those are about 8 to 9 weekers. So now we're about to go into the activated hash oil and party it up. How to make hash oil, baby.
Hi, this is Bogart. And Matt. And welcome to Marijuana Tips and Tricks with Bogart.
Uh-oh.
Today we're going to be showing you how to make concentrated hash oil that can be used in cooking and in filling gel caps. Now this is the recreational version of the hash oil and is not intended for medicinal use.
Now we had seen this gentleman last week. He had done he was the one who did the candy pipe that we watched at the ended on a good note section. And I think before that we had watched a video of him. His stick is with the lab coat, and I kind of enjoyed. This is old YouTube. It's like 7, 8 years old, I believe. But let's hear him out.
If you want to find the medicinal use hash oil, then you need to search for Rick Simpson oil. Now in his version of the hash oil,
RSO,
it's rich in CBDs and is intended for medical purposes.
That's right, but Bogart is going to show us how to put this highly activated THC hash oil into gel caps for maximum euphoric intensity.
Okay.
And I'm going to show how easy it is to incorporate this kind of hash oil into almost any recipe. And we'd like to acknowledge Bad Cat Pharma and their excellent tutorial on the method used.
I figured it'd be messy in a gel cap,
Here's
though.
what you'll need. 5 grams of keef. If you don't want to purchase your keef, you can actually watch one of our videos on how to make it. Just click the link here.
It's almost a quarter.
2.5 teaspoons of coconut oil.
Okay.
A total of 3/8 of a teaspoon of soy lecithin to be divided later.
Oh, to thicken it.
An oven-safe dish. Make sure it's kind of small. For this purpose, we use the ramekin. You also need 2 sheets of aluminum foil that are big enough to completely surround whatever container you're using.
Okay.
First, you're going to want to put your keef evenly distributed throughout your oven.
Oh, decarboxylated.
Wrap it with aluminum foil. Making sure that you wrap it with aluminum foil so you can prevent vapor loss. This is a very important step in the process. Make sure you cover it completely and seal the bottom pretty well.
Oh, okay.
Take your second
Because I never do that.
and do the exact same thing.
I never do that. I just let it air out. It's bare like cookies in the oven. So is this how you, I'm figuring this is how you're going to lock more terpene flavor into it. A lot of times, especially like the citrus type of concentrates, that's what's going to help to preserve that taste and bring it out to you.
Set your oven for 220. Then make sure you put your keef inside as the oven is preheating. Close the oven and set a timer for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Also during this time, you can melt down
That's
some
another
of the
ramekin.
coconut oil. It'll make it easier for measuring. Once you've melted down your coconut oil, set it to the side.
Okay.
Now at the end of the 20 minutes, turn off the oven, open the door briefly.
Now, I'm surprised it didn't say what temperature it was. Now, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere from about 215 to 230 is about what you use to decarboxylate cannabis. Anything over that, you're kind of killing the THC at a very rapid rate, from what I understand. Just
Then
saying.
close it and allow it to cool with the heat off for 10
Burning
additional
this phone
minutes.
all up.
And at the end of the 10 minutes, remove the pan from the oven.
Okay. Notepad.
Once the
So we
dish is cool
following
enough to handle, move on
the
to your
show
next step.
schedule.
Uncover the dish with the aluminum foil, making sure you don't ruin the aluminum foil because you're going to need it again in a moment. Once you've uncovered it, add 1/4 teaspoon of soy lecithin to your mixture. Evenly distribute that throughout.
There we go. Okay. And that's the thickener. It's like a natural thickener, I believe. What's it? Lecithin comes from sunflower seeds, sunflower oil, if I'm not mistaken. Like guam is another powder, but it's a thickening agent. And it helps things that are suspended to merge together. It binds everything up. So like oil and water, you would add lecithin in it, and it'll become actual more solid and be somewhat suspended together because they don't actually
Now
mix.
it's time to add 2.5 teaspoons of the coconut oil.
Okay.
Again, mix that evenly.
So he made this a different way. Usually I end up cooking this over the stove. Going from like tincture into Rick Simpson oil. So this here totally different than what I expected. It's a way different method. And I'm just guessing all that mixture is going to stay in the ramekin. You can win. Okay. Dang, he didn't go out. I'd have stopped at
Now
that
that
point.
you've evenly mixed that, you're going to want to go ahead and get those pieces of aluminum foil ready so we can
Okay.
go ahead and recover the mixture.
Okay.
Making sure once again that it's pretty airtight.
And put it back in the
We're
oven?
going to preheat our oven to 250.
Oh, to melt it down, I guess. Make
Once
it
the oven's preheated,
syruppier.
we're going to go ahead and add our mixture.
and thicker. I want to see him put them in a gel cap, quite honestly.
Then we're going to reduce the temperature to 220
Okay.
and set a timer for 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Now it's time to remove the mixture. Allow it to cool to where you can handle it. And then we're going to go ahead and uncover
Okay, cool.
it
I'm
again
on
one more
time.
time. Then we will add the last 1/8 teaspoon
Of the
soy
oil?
lecithin.
Oh, the lecithin. Okay.
Make
Oh,
sure
it's
you
soy
mix it in thoroughly.
lecithin. Okay. So they didn't get it from sunflower. This is from soy. Okay. Okay, now that look a little more like Rick Simpson oil to me,
Now that you have
RSO.
it mixed, we're going to put it in the freezer for 8 hours.
Okay. So it's easier to get out of the container.
At the
You
end
can
of the 8 hours,
just pop it out, I
we're going to
guess.
remove it and allow it to reach room temperature. Once it
Okay.
does, preheat your oven to 250. Once you reach 250, add the mixture back to the oven.
Okay.
Then reduce the temperature to 220.
Okay. Why are you
Set a
going through all
timer
these
for
steps?
40 minutes.
I'm very confused.
Once it's out, allow it to cool and reach room temperature.
I thought once you put it in the fridge, it was
Now
over.
here's your finished product. It's a dark brown potent mixture. It's
Okay.
ready to use for THC absorption.
Okay.
Now we're going to go ahead and show you a couple of its uses. First, I'm going to show you how to make gel capsules, which are fully
Yeah.
active for recreational purposes.
Yeah, that's the one I'm the most curious about. And the cool part about RSO or Rick Simpson oil, you can just straight up use it, take a dab on it, put it on your tongue. At the dispensary, they would say, you can basically, they have a metal straw and they'll take a dab of the RSO oil and put it like in the middle of the straw. So when they drink, they're getting a constant supply of the Rick Simpson oil. And what Rick Simpson is a gentleman, I forget when this was, in the 80s, I want to say, was diagnosed with cancer. And I want to say a high stage of it, like, second or third degree cancer, second or third stage cancer. he ended up researching and found out like the benefits of cannabis, made a concentrated solution from it. I believe he would take about 4 ounces of Rick Simpson oil a day. He did that for about 2 months. When he went back to the doctor, the cancer was pretty much gone from his body. So that raised the popularity of the Rick Simpson oil. Just a very, very thick syrup of a THC concentrate, like a maple syrupy or molassesy hash. Pretty much, that's what the best way I can say it is.
And maximize for
feel the drinks kicking in,
which means that you're going to be able to feel the effects of the THC before you digest the capsule.
Whoa.
And here's what you'll need to fill your gel caps with the concentrated hash oil.
A syringe.
You'll need a syringe and a bag of gelatin capsules. This is the size 00, and it's the beef gelatin variety of the capsules.
Beef.
Now the reason why we use the beef
pork.
gelatin capsules is because they don't degrade as fast. We can fill them up and then store them. Now if you're a vegetarian, or vegan, or you're allergic to beef for some reason, then you can actually use the vegetable version of this.
Oh, wow.
The vegetable version tends to break down a lot faster.
Yeah, like the cellulose.
Just don't fill them up too far in advance, and you can just use them as needed. So fill them up right before you need them, and then they're ready to go for you.
Okay.
First, you're going to draw your hash.
Now that's a heck of a syringe.
Now, we found out after using this syringe that a smaller syringe would have done a little bit better job and may have been a little easier to work with.
But you can pretty much get it done in one session with such a large
syringe. You're going to inject it into the capsules. Once injected into the capsules, you put the other end on and close it shut. There is a small click, and you'll know that you've closed your capsule completely.
Okay. Oh, that's convenient.
They are now ready for ingestion.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to show you how easy it is to incorporate this kind of hash oil into almost any recipe. For instance, with this hash oil and 5 simple ingredients, you can create your very own chocolate edibles just like you get at the dispensary at home for a fraction of the cost.
Okay. I do tell. I do tell.
Now, one of the great things about this hash oil recipe is that it's already activated, so you don't need any heat to add it to a recipe. So you can literally add it to any food that you want to. You could stir it into a bowl of chili. You could make it into a caramel sauce and pour it over
chili. Never thought of that.
Anywhere you want to add it.
That's brilliant.
So you don't want to bake it for too long or fry with it. But other than that, you're good to go with any recipe. I'm adding it right now to a chocolate recipe, which basically just uses the same coconut oil that you used for the hash oil, some cocoa, some
cocoa
honey,
powder,
some vanilla, and a little bit of thyme and a double boiler, and you can pour the hash oil right in the end just like this and enjoy some really delicious homemade gourmet chocolate for a fraction of the cost, literally, that you would pay for this kind of hash oil at the dispensary.
Sometimes you got to pay double for that kind of action.
Watching how to make concentrated hash oils. Now, you guys make sure you click the like button. That's the thumbs up symbol. Leave us your comments. We love those. And subscribe. It's free.
It's free.
Thanks for watching.
Pass that bomb, buddy. Oh, YouTube. That was nice. That was nice. That was a different process, man. That was a way different process than what I expected. Like I said, usually I'll how does it go? I'll take Everclear, put that in a jar with dried flower, cannabis, keef, whatever have you. Then, shake it up a bunch of times, like 15 minutes, something like that. Pour that out through a coffee filter into another mason jar. Basically take that keef, put it back in the jar, put some more alcohol on it, cover it up, shake that up, put it through the filter again. And those 2 sessions are pretty much what I'll start cooking off on the stove. Now, some people use a crock pot. I guess you can use that double boiler. That's also feasible. But I basically end up having to cook it for multiple hours, 3 to 5 to 6 hours to get it to be in a liquid. And it is a real short window when the transformation actually happens to be little driplets of liquid. So when it turns into a sticky, syrupy type of mixture. But at that point, that's pretty much how I end up making my RSO oil or hash oil. So going through that process of freezing it, reheating it, that was very interesting to me. Now I wonder if that aged to the binding of it, or that aged to the potency of it, aging of it, whatever. That seemed like an extra step, and I was very curious about that. So then next, now that I got you warmed up all good off the hash oil, we're going to hear some hash horror stories. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to cue that up. And see what we got here. All right. So let me go into studio mode here. There we go. Get the video queued up. I'm feeling pretty good, man. I am happy. Having a good day. Enjoying myself. Enjoying streaming. I'm hoping everybody out there having a great day. Now, as much as I'm a sucker for flower, I have to remember that people who only like concentrates are on the pen, can't smoke, whatever have you. So I'm glad that I do get a chance every so often to get to these. So this is an edible story. I thought I had a hash story. Okay, no. Nope. Oh, damn. I have a black tape swimsuit. Runway crap. There we go. So let's see how this is going to be. Do I have to resize? Oh, no, we good to go. Okay. Okay, everything's working out so far today, baby. Everything is going good. Cannot complain. Nice J. Had a nice little bit of coffee. Some nice beers. And I'm getting a chance to chill with everybody. Now that, yeah, like I said, that hash oil was very interesting. I do a total different method, and I guess mine probably isn't as medicinally potent as the others. I do pretty much use my tinctures or oils just for cooking. Primarily desserts. It is very simple to throw some Betty Crocker in a bowl with the ingredients and a little bit of can of oil or coconut can of oil, can of butter, and whip up some tasty treats. Also, dang, I feel like go-go. Also, homie, I want to say what's up to the Kentland. Hold up. Also, basically with the concentrates, I'm more so onto the solid hash. It's a little bit easier to handle, less steps, I feel, than trying to have it in a, I guess, like semi-liquid or semi-solid form. So that's more so the way I go. And really just because I like being able to put it on top of the bone or like break it down and crumble it into the J to give it a little boost. Because I do notice a difference in the concentrates. I will admit, up until I met my wife, I never really delved in any of that stuff. Hash oil, the vape cartridges, I was just, rolling blunts. That's pretty much all I was on. I didn't even like joints. And she was on concentrate. She was on hash real hard. She was on smoking out of her little bowl. So I started to appreciate it. Not that I hadn't really done it, but it wasn't really showcased, I think, in my life. Only times like I'd be at a party or something like that, something I don't associate with permanency and doing the bong, like, hey, this is a novelty trick, and do something that I really would consider an option when it comes to smoking. So I'm very appreciative that she has kind of shown me the light And that has opened my world really to the different types of videos and education that we can get. So like the same old keep through a screen, I guess, or then we can go to bubble hash if you want to kick it up to the next step. Then we've got the green dragon tincture, which is, at least for me, Everclear, and the keef and a mason jar technique I was talking about to make the RSO. And I have realized using the screen or the keef inside the grinder is not bad, but I do prefer bubble hash, and seeing that bubble does make a huge difference. And it's very impressive. A signature on your labor is what I'm trying to say, I guess. I seem to be having the most problems today. I'm staying in the red and yellow with this stream. But let me go ahead and get us into, do I even need this? Okay, let me turn the can light off. There we go. Yeah, I don't even think I need it. There we go. And that just made everything better. I couldn't take having that light shining in my face. Sorry about that. So now I actually do want to get into the dark side of hash oil. I want to hear this crap out. Damn, jamming too hard. I don't want to do that. I wish I could skip to every 2 weeks when I was growing. Get more results out the seeds that I was sowing. Because right now, yeah, the plants are taking quite some time to kind of get where I want them to be. But like I said, we haven't even hit June yet. Like Memorial Day, woo! Don't have to do nothing tomorrow. I'm feeling great about that. And I'm guessing everybody is sleeping in and enjoying themselves, partying it up. I'm hoping. Relax and live it up, because I got to. Then it's going to be a short work week next week. What? So I'm very excited. Everything has been on the up and up so far. I mean, my goodness. Got my beer, got my cigs, got my blunts, got my chat, live streaming. What more do you want? Relaxing on the weekend. On this sauced up Sunday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the evil side of hash oil. All right, yeah, let's check it out. Oh yeah, you gotta do that. You gotta plug the channels. They trying to ease me in before they scare the pants off me. I'm taking it. But this should be good. Okay, there we go. All right. Come on, scare the pants off me.
In the past, I have tried to OD with smoked and orally consumed high-quality marijuana, mainly indica, with strong results, but never out-of-body experiences or anything particularly interesting.
Holy shit.
In my search for extreme consciousness alteration, I decided that cannabis oil would be the best route.
Alright, so extreme alteration. Because I was like, hold on, you just can't come in when I try to OD off of cannabis. I'm going to need some backstory for that. That ain't something I hear every day, homie. You guys can do better than that.
After seeing the report of the homemade oil technique, I decided to carry out the
RSO.
procedure. However, I decided to change the recipe a little.
Oh, shit.
The instructions called for the use of the cannabis plant material for the extract, while I choose to use instead 5.5 grams of high-quality hash.
Oh, shit.
This hash was a particular potency, having smoked it before. I also noticed it sweating beads of dark yellow oils when handled.
Okay.
Instead of using paper, I choose a very fine mesh metal screen to filter and allow the semi-fluid butane to separate the very fine cannabinoids.
Oh, he used butane.
Hopefully mostly
BYO,
THC
BSO.
from the other resins. My end product after boiling off the alcohol was nearly 0.5 grams of a thick amber oil. Next came the fun.
Was he hallucinating?
The best way to
Daffy
administer
ducking?
such a large amount at once, I decided that it would be a waste to expose such nice oil to an open flame. My vaporizer suddenly seemed to be the most appealing vessel, with its low soothing temperature. I poured all the oil onto the metal plate, mine is rather large, plugged it in, and waited readily. When it reached temperature, I began puffing away, trying desperately to keep up. First it started smoking a little, then it really got going.
Alright.
It was a harsh smoke and felt as though it was cutting my lungs. Effects were felt after the first hit. The exact number of hits I took is unknown, but I would assume over 25 before I really started to lose motor control. I felt this incredible pounding, throbbing sensation in my head, and I started to get very dizzy. My lungs were in pain, and I was coughing out of control. I felt pretty fucked up, but the vaporizer was still blazing, so I got back to it. This is where things got strange.
Oh yeah, what up, kid? What up, Rumble?
When my right ear starts ringing.
Oh
It
shoot.
seems to get louder and more painful. I continue smoking to further the intoxication. I feel a lot of pressure in my face, and my eyes begin to feel sore. I take the last big hit,
You about to
hold, and
OD.
exhale coughing. The coughing doesn't stop and gets out of control.
He about to OD.
After some time, I find myself gasping for air, but I can't.
This is like what's the don't be a menace to South Central while drinking the juice in the hood. Dude smoked a J and couldn't stop coughing and went into the seizure on the floor.
Breathe.
This might be the
My heart began
inspiration.
Pounding. I couldn't tell if my lungs were in pain or if it was my heart.
I couldn't tell
I
if my
began
lungs are
panicking,
hard.
gasping for air, and began to feel lightheaded and actually kind of good.
Oh my goodness. Neither one of them is good signs, but he was like, oh, this was actually good.
I closed my eyes and saw bright neon lights and all these weird dots. I opened my eyes, and my face is on the floor, and my whole body is trembling.
He did hit Don't Be a Menace.
I didn't remember how I got on the floor because I'd been sitting down on a chair. I didn't remember passing out, but I did.
Oh no, that was a blackout. That wasn't a pass out. That was way more severe, homie.
Shaking didn't go away for hours, and when I look in the mirror, I saw a weird purple-blue discoloration under my eye, which I found to be a rather large ruptured blood vessel. It did not cause any considerable pain and went away in about a week. The experience was frightening and uncomfortable. I highly recommend it.
What? Why am I dropping so many frames?
One day, I decided I was going to eat a gram of oil. What I did was scrape it out of the cap onto an ice cube in an ice cube tray. Put it in the freezer for about 10 minutes. Took it out. It was hard like a piece of hard candy. Put it in my mouth and swallowed it whole with water like a pill. Somewhere in between 3 to 4 hours later, it hit me. Hard, all at once, straight to the peak. The only way I could describe the high is think about the time you've been the most drunk you have ever been in your life and multiply it by 1,000. I was with my friend doing some business and I needed to drive him home. On the way home, we stopped at a railroad crossing and the flashing red lights were so intense I couldn't even look at them. I had my eyes covered so I wouldn't see them. Then I took a peek to check if it was gone. It wasn't yet.
Oh
I
shit.
told my friend that I had to throw up. The flashing lights got to me, I guess.
Dang!
He said, "Open your door." And then I said, "I can't." And I puked all over the inside of my car. I had to get him home as he had just purchased 2 pounds of weed, so I kept on driving.
Jesus Christ. Hold on. I was about to, stop. I was like, this sounds like the time I was on off of PCP, off a boat back in the day. That the person we was getting it from, all my friends, this never happened to me. Oh no, it did happen to me. I forgot that happened in school. That I got stuck and couldn't move. I couldn't lift my head off the table, off the desk. But that's what this sound like. Like, try and move. I can't. Like, he was stuck. He was in the vortex.
The car stunk like puke and my clothes were covered in it. Eventually we got to his place and he said I could come up to wash off. I said, I need a few minutes, and I stayed in the car for a half an hour. I finally got out and threw up a little more and started dry heaving. I couldn't even make it to the apartment door, so I decided that I should call somebody to come and get me and take me home. However, they thought that home was not the place for me and rushed me to the hospital.
Oh shit.
I stayed there overnight and was let go the next morning. They said I had overdosed on THC.
What?
All in all, I wouldn't recommend ingesting oil to anyone. If you must, do it in a smaller quantity.
Hold on, is that even real? Because I heard you couldn't overdose off of weed. Overdoses and dying. Like maybe overconsumption, I can believe that, but I thought you couldn't die like overdose. Okay, hold on. The reason I stopped was because I'm getting thirsty and this isn't going to cut it, buddy. So now we need to adjust our body count. And don't mind if I do.
I got a higher body count than yours.
Well, should I add this to your body count?
So now we're going to step it up to the next level. We're going to try the Pilsner from Yingling. First we had the Helles, which is the introduction, the lightest German beer. And Helles, you know, it looks like Hells, actually means bright. So like clear is in bright. You can see right through it, which was what I was trying to show. Now this malt is just slightly darker, and we should be able to see that difference. That golden pour. Yeah, it's a lot more golden, a lot less straw. That was a horrible pour. There we go. Now see, you can't see through me as well with that. Hold on, this is a little trick. Take a little grease from your nose and your forehead and ring it around. You can pop the bubble in your beer or whatever the head of your, whatever you're drinking. The oil makes it so it can't, the bubbles won't stay. I should have side poured it, but I was so busy trying to look at the colors. Colors. All right. Anyway, like I said, I was thirsty. Let's get back into it.
I wouldn't recommend anyone trying this stuff. It's too much. Almost even for experienced smokers.
I don't want to hear that.
It gave me extreme derealization and dissociation, with a lot of extreme anxiety and depression. I'm very used to smoking and eating heavy doses of cannabis, but this one humbled me a lot. Day 1. It was just like any other day for me, going over to my buddy's house to chill and relax. I arrived at his place to find my other buddies there as well. We chatted for a bit, and some time passed. My buddy then told me he had gotten a hold of something new, which was hash oil mixed together with vape juice. I asked him if I could try a hit.
Hash oil and vape juice.
Hit a few times. I could slowly feel it creeping in on me. It felt like I had just smoked 3 fat joints in an instant, and I liked it a lot. I then asked my buddy how much the vape in a full small tank were, and he replied with the price. I bought a small tank, around 2 milliliters, with the vape, Vaporesso Gen 200, and again took a few hits. I could feel it sneaking in, and it sure hit hard. As it crept in on me, I started feeling really relaxed with an intense body high that later got to my head.
That's what I was thinking. It had to be some super kush.
And my eyes. Somehow, the overall effects felt similar to hash edibles, and the high lasted about 30 minutes in the head and 6 to 13 hours in the body. At 10 hits, I was higher than I've ever been off of any other cannabis-related substance. It was really intense, but I liked it a lot.
What's up with these people trying to push it to the limit? Yeah, they're going kind of hard. But I'm really questioning if this is even real or fake. A lot of these details seem to be not what I usually hear. Like I said, I didn't think people could overdose off of cannabis. This dude talking about he went to the hospital and that's exactly what the doctors told him. I really question that. And then this one, Jesus Christ, dude.
For some reason, one of my friends then asked if I wanted to smoke a joint, and I said yes. We rolled up about 0.8 grams of hash. When it was my turn to smoke, I took a few big hits, and it felt like the high was rushing hard through my body and head. My body became heavy, and it felt like the gravity was pulling me down.
Oh yeah, the head magnet.
It lasted about 20 to 30 seconds or so, and I began taking more hits and passed it to my buddy. Throughout the night, we smoked about 3 grams of hash. I then decided to head home at 12 to 1 a.m. to get some night's rest. Day 2. I woke up still feeling really stoned from yesterday and decided to hit my vape for a bit. Ended up smoking the rest of my tank. It slowly started creeping in like last time, but way harder. I decided to relax in my bed and watch some reels on Instagram until I got bored. Later that day, I hit up my buddy from yesterday and asked if he was down to hang out again.
Yeah, man.
He told me to come through. I started packing my things and headed towards his house. When I arrived, my other friends from yesterday were also there, chilling and smoking a joint. I sat down and talked to them for a bit.
There we go.
A minute or so went by, and I asked my friend if we could switch out my smaller 2 milliliter tank for an 8 milliliter tank.
Okay.
He said yes, switched it out, filled it up, and then proceeded to puff on it more than I did the day before. Many hours passed, and I decided to head home with my tank fully filled again. Day 3.
He keeps going
as usual. The first thing I did was vape a bit, and then head to my PC. When I got to my PC, I could feel it hitting really hard in my body and head. I decided to just relax and watch some YouTube. After about 30 minutes, I didn't notice coming out of my bubble that I was casually ripping it, hit after hit. I then laid it down for a bit and noticed how insanely high I was.
Insanely high.
My vision was distorted, almost warped inward like a wide-angle lens, with white noise everywhere I looked. After realizing this, I looked around my room, and at this point, nothing looked or felt real. I remember repeating to myself in my head that I had been dead for a long time. I then walked over to my bed and stared at my ceiling for about 30 to 40 minutes before coming to. I didn't think anything of what had just happened.
What the?
Later on, my friends asked if they could come over to my place, so I let them. Me and my buddy started hitting on my vape and got ourselves pretty high and played some music. When they left, I decided to make some music while hitting my vape. I got a call in Discord from my friend who had just come home, and we decided to have fun and talk while I got more and more high as the night progressed. I slowly went to bed. Day 4.
Day 4?
When I woke up, I was hit with heavy derealization and dissociation.
Oh my goodness, you got so much THC in the system.
I could barely keep it together as I got out of my bed to try and make some food, but I couldn't get a single bite down. Later on, I decided to visit my dad's place to recover from what had happened.
Okay.
In the next 7 to 9 days, I focused on improving my mental health by going for a lot of walks in the forest and meditating, which helped my mental state a lot. I'm currently feeling a lot better now, but still having problems here and there. For anyone thinking it was laced, it wasn't.
Okay, it wasn't laced. That's what I
even
thought.
Tried it out, and if anyone is interested in trying it, you have been warned. Just use common sense, unlike me.
Unlike me. All right, doing good, Dank Tech. Can't complain. This is crazy. Wow, that was wild. Yeah, I still doubt these stories. I know some people who seriously smoke, and actually they have, I believe, the luxury of growing their own, and that's the reason they can afford to smoke that much. And I've never heard of anybody overdosing or having to go to the hospital off of weed. Now, and I understand you might feel like you need to go to the hospital, but I don't think too much they can really do for you when that happens. Going to the dispensary, it's been some years, maybe 3 at this point. But I remember when I given the story about the RSO from the first video, and it was pretty much them saying the old lady, where's the music? The old ladies used to come in there, not having any real experience with cannabis, and try the RSO oil and end up calling like the poison control or the going to the hospital because their heart and the feelings that they have, they're getting like that paranoid overdose kind of feeling. There we go. That paranoid overdose feeling. There we go. Now we can jam it up. Smoke it up, jam it up, enjoy ourselves a little bit. But yeah, I don't trust those stories really. That was a little bit much for me. That was a hard pill to swallow. But it is smoke time, so where we at? Yeah, smoke time.
Lows and heights. That's right, but that's life. Right now, everything is feeling all right. Everything is feeling all right. I'ma get it right in my.
There we go. Smoke time. Fired up. And we can enjoy ourselves. Stimulate your mind, man. Stimulate your mind. And enjoy ourselves on this Sauced Up Sunday again, dude. I basically reset the computer, restarted OBS, just so I wouldn't have these problems that I experienced last week.
Hey, honey.
Hey, how you doing, baby?
I'm leaving.
You are?
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Okay. All right, goodbye. Have a good time. Oops. Well, that took me out the zone. Took the air out the room. Let me put it back. There we go. Okay, so she's out of here. It's party time. Oh yeah, some super jams. Yeah, I've never, even with people like mixing drugs and whatnot, I don't remember from my experience anybody going to the hospital. Now, ecstasy, now that was putting people in the hospital. That and Four Locos was putting people in the hospital, but like, I mean, I know people who would do like acid, Special K, and smoke con bud on the weekend and then come to school on Monday, fine. So yeah, I really question the authenticity of those stories that we was just listening to. But I'm gonna go ahead and queue up our next video. What the hell do I even freaking watch? No fault. Oh, okay, so that everything going according to plan. I'm doing a great job, baby. This is why you take notes. Take notes. Keep everything flowing correctly. Now the hard part is to find this video. It's just so much to kind of go through. I try I try and keep a lot of different things on deck anytime I see something interesting. But sometimes you end up with a complete show because a lot of the threads stick together, and other times it's like, I just got a bunch of junk. How am I gonna make this a show? So you'll at least have one thing kind of done by, you know, stacking a rack of videos. There we go. So now we get to me. Oh, got everything. Yeah, when you stack a rack of videos, even if they don't have a collection, excuse me, that's what I mean by stacking. Have a collection of videos on back catalog or whatever, you can eventually, you know, just work around those topics, or hopefully something you see can be added to what you already have. That's really, but it's a lot to filter through when you got like 50 videos or whatever, and you're looking for one in particular. And for some reason, I can't get this to stay on most recently loaded. It is actually wants to compile everything in alphabetical order. So thanks a lot, because I don't even remember the title of half of these things. Sometimes you can't get in the zone and just be on a roll and like, boom, I get this video, this video, and I basically got this week's show. Then, like I said, other times you just got a bunch of different videos and like, oh, I can put these together and come up with a show. And that's kind of how this show actually turned out. Including the next video we're about to watch. These videos I've had for like 2-3 months, something like that. And I was just waiting for a moment for harmony to come together. All the stars align and we come up with a show. And this one seems to be working out pretty good. Hash seems to be the theme. And the best way to get an abundance of hash is grow your own, which is the common thread of all these shows, which I believe where I was a discrepancy. I'm lost. I don't know if I'm at number 42 or 43. I believe 43, but sheesh. 9 to go and we've done it a whole year, man. Unbelievable. Inconceivable. I'm definitely enjoying myself. We're gonna get our mind right and go into some crazy edible stories. This should be pretty good. If it's anything, I hope it's more believable than the hash stuff that we were listening to, because I really don't trust the authenticity of that. The hash stories, the hash oil story. We're using hash concentrates and what did he say? Vape juice. I don't trust it. But let's go ahead and get our minds right. That's my jam. That's Stone Days. That's the main reason I keep bringing that movie up. I think that's one of the funniest reveals. They gave her the Indiana Jones reveal. He was just hot to trot. And people just let her down. Them two dudes didn't have nothing she wanted. I figured that'd get us ready and in the mood to hear some of these crazy edible stories. And let me just go ahead into it. I ain't about to touch the music skin.
Before the video begins, I want to say that I have a Patreon where you can donate to help.
Oh, this the same dude?
And also where I have an Instagram where I post almost daily.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's the same dude.
Fans. So you can personally DM me and I will respond to you. So go follow me on there and keep updated with my personal life.
Okay.
Thank you, and let's start the video.
I'm just dropping fucking frames. All right, let's get it. Yeah, this is the same dude. Same graphic.
3 days ago, I had the most horrifying experience in my entire life. Me and my friend hadn't smoked marijuana in months, marijuana being the only thing I had ever done, and we decided to buy some magic brownies from a friend. The girl who sold them told us the only thing in the brownies was marijuana.
Okay.
We didn't really think they were
This
going to
sounds
give
safe.
us any more than a buzz, so we ate them about an hour before my mom was supposed to pick me up. Bad fucking idea. I'm not really sure about the time, but I think about 15 minutes after taking them and realizing they did nothing for us, we decided to go home.
Okay.
I walked up to the street my mom was supposed to pick me up at and started reading my book. I don't know how much time had passed, but suddenly I began to feel intensely high. The cars would pass, and the whoosh sound they made would be delayed. I was like, shit, just what I needed. My mom is gonna be here any minute. I got up and started walking down the street in the direction of my house in hopes I would wear it off. It just got worse.
Yeah, this is good.
I started feeling like if I just pulled the upper half of my body a little higher, I could have had an out-of-body experience. I kept trying to snap back to reality so I could fake it in front of my mom. My mom drives up minutes later, and I've never felt so high in my life. Everything looks so different. I get in the car and complain about feeling sick, and she just starts talking and driving. Suddenly, I feel like she is going down the same street she just went down, and I get this horrifying sense of deja vu. Like sometime in the past she went down the same street twice to check if I was high and see if I noticed what she was doing. To my knowledge, this has never actually happened. I asked her, hey, why are you going down the same street twice? And she looked at me funny. She's like, I didn't go down the same street twice.
There we
At this
go.
point,
No?
I feel so weird. She's like, are you alright? What's the matter?
It's supposed to be
We
better.
arrive at the house, and I go into the backyard, and oh my god, it totally hits me. I'm sitting on the swing thing we have, and my mom comes out to look at me. I have absolutely no distance perception whatsoever, so she looks like this little person coming towards me, slowly getting larger and larger.
Oh no, this joint is just bad.
The backyard is ridiculous looking. Everything is wrongly proportioned.
Okay.
I try to explain what the backyard looks like, but I can't seem to find words. The backyard starts splitting, like instead of being a full picture in front of me, there are two halves and they branch out towards me when I turn my head from side to side. In my mind, I'm screaming, what the fuck is this? My mom asked me what the hell is the matter, and I feel like I have no choice, so I'm like, I took a marijuana brownie.
Oh no.
And she's like,
You had a
this
snitch.
is not marijuana. And suddenly it hit me.
It's
The brownie
fentanyl.
must have had something else in it, and I got so scared. My mom and sister take me inside to my sister's room, and our house looks like it's in a circle. Everything is curved out.
Is that better?
Before I know it, I'm being driven to the hospital. My mom asked me to take my gum out, and I do. And then I start moving my tongue around the inside of my mouth. When I do this, the entire scene in front of me gets this blurry line in the middle of it, and I can hear myself licking that line, defining it, creating it. I cannot explain how weird this was. But the worst part is coming.
That's not
I
any
came into
better.
the hospital, and they admitted me. For a while, they were trying to get me to talk, but for some reason, I couldn't do that. And then, like magic, it all became fucking hell. Everything I saw was something I had seen in my memories years ago, or in different lifetimes. The walls, the curtains, the sounds of the hospital, everything. The nurse took me in to take a pee test, and that's when it really hit me. All that I was experiencing was a hell that had been created for me. All of it had happened before, and I knew that now I was going to be here for eternity. I started to cry, but she told me no crying, but it was so real.
Pimps
The
don't
things she was saying, the way the bathroom looked, the way she looked. I felt as though that all of this happened to me before. I knew it was real because the deja vu was so incredibly strong.
No.
I remember looking up at my sister's face and seeing her saying, "Astrid, talk to me." And deep within myself, I knew that she was only a simulation for the hell that had been created. I was meant to live in this endless cycle of horrifying deja vu for the rest of eternity.
What?
This is going to sound really self-centered, but I believe that every soul that had ever existed has lived the life of Astrid, experiencing the same things as me, and made the choice whether or not to take the brownie, which would determine their destiny forever. It's so ridiculous, but at the time, I believed it so much. I realized that all the people that had talked to me about drugs in the past were mere simulations to test my weakness and temptation.
What?
I mean, I'm not even really religious.
That sounds worse than that.
The scariest part was that everything felt as though it had sickeningly occurred before, and that its purpose was to occur again and again and again in this never-ending cycle of torture. I try to explain this to some people after, and it's really obvious that you have to experience it yourself to understand the horror. So I'm guessing what I took was LSD. I was still feeling weird the next day. Not like hallucinating or anything, but I just felt really weird. I don't think I'll ever know what it was for sure. The ER people got a blood test, but they said it's difficult to detect other drugs besides marijuana in the system. All I know is that I've done marijuana quite a few times in the past, and this was not marijuana. I just wonder if the circumstances were different. Maybe it wouldn't have been a bad trip. Anything to do with doctors scares me now. I went to the doctors for a checkup the next day because my mom was being a paranoid freak, and I saw the white walls of the doctor's office with cheesy little kid wallpaper on it. And I got this wave of terror, but it passed in like a second. I'm scared to even do marijuana after this. I just can't ever know exactly what I'm getting with drugs. My advice to everyone, expect the unexpected when dealing with this crap. I've always wanted to try LSD, but I never thought it would be this way. Hey, I just want to interject after that story. He said it was laced with LSD. I don't think so. I think he just took a high dose of an edible. That's just my 2 cents on it.
I can believe that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Who puts LSD in an edible? I'd have to agree with you. Where we at? Here we go.
This was a mostly bad trip. That was the culmination of a myriad of unfortunate things and bad decisions that happened in conjunction with one another. This trip was also the first and only time I have had a full-on trip from weed and edibles. Due to the following circumstances, I learned that one can actually have a full-blown trip from THC.
Yeah.
I was 31 at the time and had many previous experiences with mushrooms, acid, and marijuana, and was very familiar with trip reports, and that probably helped the situation not become even worse than what it was. I was with my fiancée and her family for a weekend getaway on Lake Erie. It was the week after Christmas, and we rented a house on the lake and decided to have a chill, relaxed vacation despite the freezing temperatures outside. My fiancé's brother had a few marijuana plants at his home and had made some infused coconut oil from them.
Oh, shoot.
I had made my own batch a year prior with his plants, and it was super potent. He asked me Saturday afternoon if I wanted some in my hot chocolate, which he was going to have for himself and his wife. And I said sure, but I didn't want to be too messed up for the evening, and so I told him, just a small to medium amount. Mind you, I never smoke and do edibles probably once a month, so I did not have much tolerance built up like my fiancé's brother and his wife.
Damn.
They made some hot chocolate for the three of us and dosed my mug. The first of many bad decisions was that for some reason, despite not having eaten since 11 a.m.
You should fix it.
I drank the entire mug in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. This was around 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So I didn't have much in my stomach and took it all at once, and the fact that it was liquid and not in solid form must have been the reason it affected me so quickly.
Alright, come on, baby.
We decided to play a game, and after about 15 minutes or so, I felt myself getting a bit nauseous and dizzy. Then everyone got up and went to the kitchen to start preparing dinner.
Baby.
Eventually,
Fix yourself.
I was able to get up and follow them, but I felt confused. And even though we were staying in a rental house, I immediately felt like I didn't know where to go and did not understand my surroundings and had to support myself on the banister to get up the stairs to go towards the kitchen and had blurry vision to boot. I knew I had to sit down, so before I got to the kitchen, I went into the room where I'd slept the night before and sat down on the bed and started immediately crying because I didn't know who I was. I was experiencing ego loss after 30 minutes of ingesting this THC oil and would keep telling my fiance this over the course of the night. My fiance ran in to see what was wrong and sort of helped me get through that moment by quizzing me on who I was and who she was, which I was able to do in terms of naming people, but still didn't quite understand who everyone was. I decided I needed to fight this mental feeling, something I would not have done had I had
Cheers, happy Sunday. Thankfully I fixed the stream. This was getting rough.
I jumped in the shower and had the cold water running for 5 minutes, thinking it would wake me up and get me out of that delirious mental state. Unfortunately, it didn't work and just made me cold. Then
you ingested it. It's in your bloodstream, baby.
And that would make me feel better. Mind you, I now had zero appetite and was afraid because her parents are very conservative in terms of drug use. I started to realize I was in for the long haul, and despite not being prepared whatsoever to trip with my fiance's family this weekend, I have to roll with it. I proceed to sit down at dinner with everyone, and they could see something was wrong with me. Also because they had heard me crying. I was afraid because I could tell my fiance's mom was very angry at my fiance's brother for putting me in such a weird funk, and there was a clear tension going on at the dinner table, which additionally put me in a not so good mindset for my trip.
I can't win.
Then things start to get real at the table, and this was probably 45 minutes after I drank the hot chocolate. I start floating about 3 feet above my body and proceed to tell everyone, I'm watching myself from here, moving my hand behind my head by about a foot.
I'm watching myself.
I can't eat dinner at all, so I start staring at the clock on the wall, and after 4 minutes, which felt like an hour, I exclaimed, "Oh my God, it's only been 4 minutes. I can't believe this. This is not good." I got up and headed outside to go for a run to clear my head, but my fiance chased me down and eventually allowed me outside, but only to run up and down the road a few times before making me come back inside as it was 0 degrees, and she didn't want me wandering off and getting hit by a car or having someone call the cops on me. In hindsight, this was probably a smart decision. However, I really wonder if I could have made myself feel
You're
more
right. I forgot
relaxed
about
and
the magic mushrooms part. Thank you, not giving. Thank
for a
you.
short run. I don't remember much after that, other than being afraid, or maybe just intimidated by my fiance's brother's dog that I normally adore and love playing with.
Oh, the dog attacked him or some shit.
Sitting in the living room with everyone later on, after I had eventually calmed down enough to have the normal, marijuana-intense giggles with my fiance's brother and his wife, who were also now both baked, while my fiance's mom was making fun of us, and also annoyed at us for ruining the family vacation by just being so high that we couldn't even function. I should also note that while my fiance's brother and his wife had also taken the same amount that I had, possibly even more, he had simply had a night of being super high, and his wife, though she had a bit of an emotional roller coaster of a night, and had also started crying in front of everyone, she did not have the trip-like symptoms that I did. At around 10 or 11, we all went to bed, so this was about 6 hours after initial ingestion. As anyone who has tripped before knows, you can often feel feverish and get chills. This happened to me, and the next step in bad decisions made that night was that I decided to sleep in a sweatshirt under the covers, despite being in a very warm room where the night before I was fine sleeping naked under a thin sheet.
What the?
I got up to go to the bathroom at around 4 or 5 a.m., and before getting back into bed, I proceeded to faint. something I have never done in my life.
Yeah.
I hit the floor and immediately started crying, something I also never
What
do,
the?
now had done twice in 12 hours.
What?
Everyone ran into the room to see what was wrong.
Yeah.
And I started freaking out. I told them I felt very warm, and they took off all my clothes except for my underwear, and I am profusely sweating. I'm positive it was just my temperature that made me faint, but I was definitely still high.
Yeah, that happened to me.
My fiance's mother
the bathroom
proceeded to call
story in high
911.
school.
Probably a rational decision in her mind, although everyone was delirious because they had just been woken up in the middle of the night. I still had the right mindset to say no, but at that point, it was too late, and the paramedics were on their way. The paramedics arrive, and I'm pacing back and forth, basically having a panic attack while still high.
Okay.
They take my vitals, which were fine, except my heart rate was at 120 beats per minute. I was basically
I don't know what that means.
Everyone there to go to the emergency room.
I mean fast
I'd
or?
never been. They strapped me into a stretcher and put me into the back of the ambulance, and I realized that I was still super high, because watching the lights fade away out the back of the ambulance as we left blew my mind. We get to the ER, and they give me an IV, and despite that, I still had super bad cotton mouth, and just kept asking for water, which
because
it took
he was
forever for the
dehydrated.
nurses to help me. The doctor asked if I had taken anything, and I was coherent enough to say no. Probably not the right answer in hindsight, because once my fiance's family realized there would be no repercussions to telling the truth, they told the doctor about the weed.
Oh no. So then it's going to, the doctor's probably going to be mad at this point hearing
What I
that.
distinctly remember from the emergency room was my fiance coming up to me and whispering in my ear, "Are you still high?" I didn't even respond, because at that moment,
that would have messed me
13 or
up.
14
Oh my
hours
goodness
after drinking the
gracious.
hot chocolate, I realized I was still tripping hard off this little THC drink. The doctor
Yeah,
loaded me
the hot
up
chocolate
with
would have sent it up. The
Xanax
sugar
and
would have been too much.
or the hospital equivalents, and I passed out for an hour or two. They released me, and we went back to the rental house, and I slept for another hour or so.
Okay.
I
Understandable.
woke up, had breakfast, and I felt fine. Meanwhile, everyone else had been packing and cleaning, and as soon as I got my stuff, it was time to check out of this house.
Oh no.
Needless to say, it was not an enjoyable goodbye, and not a fun departure, as everyone else was exhausted and angry at each other.
Hell yeah.
I did not expect to be able to trip off of cannabis oil. I was not expecting to trip at all that weekend. I was not in a safe space and was surrounded by people who I didn't know very well.
A safe
not versed in psychedelics. I did not have a trip sitter to tell me to go with the ego loss feeling. I should not have drank that hot chocolate so quickly and should have not done it on
Too much sugar. That's what I was thinking.
I shouldn't have gone to bed with so many layers on. My fiance's brother didn't realize my lack of tolerance and or the strength of his stuff. My fiance's mother should not have immediately called 911.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, supposed LSD over like that's what I was wondering. What did they when they said I don't know if you came in for that. I'm sorry not giving, but we were watching like horror hash oil stories. And a guy said he went to the hospital and they said he had overdosed off cannabis. And I thought maybe it's an old wise tale or whatever, but I always thought that nobody had ever overdosed off weed. Now, I'm taking overdose as in, I guess, like a cocaine, heroin, your cardiac arrest type of overdose. Now, like overconsumption, I guess is what I'm confusing with overdose. Now, you took too much for your body to handle. Now, that I can understand. You just got to ride it out or whatever I used to hear. Now, that overdose, I can kind of understand. Like you overconsumed or overindulged in whatever you were doing. That seems a little more accurate to me. I'm just having a problem with the overdose because I really associated that with, I guess, like your heart stopping and they got to give you Narcan and all that kind of crap. Narcam. But we'll see. All right, let's go here.
All these things led to a bad trip. However, it still could have been worse, and thankfully, I had the knowledge and prior experience to deal with most of what was thrown at me.
Okay.
Furthermore, looking back on it, I'm still amazed at what happened that night. And honestly, I am in awe of the ego loss element and out-of-body experience from THC.
Okay. I mean, okay, I had mentioned, hold on, why you ain't stopped? There we go. I had mentioned in there, I mentioned this story probably like 2 or 3 times already, but the time that I was in high school, I was about to say dude's name, I think he's dead, so it wouldn't matter, but anyway, it was like, yeah, I got some bomb-ass weed, and me and my friend smoked it, and I was so high, like I was just lethargic, like I got hit with the tranquilizer dart. So I had managed to, like, as I'm blacking out and it's getting, my feet are getting heavier, to go into the men's bathroom, pretty much on a corridor. I know the security guards, we did have 3 security guards at the school, don't really monitor. So on top of that, just because it's not a lot of stalls in this one, so not a lot of people really go to it. I also decided to put one sit down one with the stall. So that's the main reason why. So anyway, I put my feet up on the toilet and sit on the back of like the little metal thing and just had my head and my knees for the whole class period, which I think anywhere from like 42 to 50 minutes. And the security guard basically, boom, pushes the door open. I'm guessing the security guard or the teacher. I'm supposing the security guard, because they just, boom, I hear the door open up. And then they just close and walk away. They just look, don't see anybody. So they just like, cool, I can just keep patrolling. Because I guess, you know. So anyway, I'm like, yes, the thing from the movie actually worked out. You do put your feet up and people don't think you in there. Because honestly, if he had caught me, you know, I didn't need another like 15 minutes, man. I was struggling. So luckily I was able to muster myself together. So that was like a overindulgence. That was the second time that happened to me. So I at least was experienced with it. But the first time, I literally passed out on a basketball court. I think I told this story too. I passed out on a basketball court in the middle of the summer. And I guess as I passed out, it was the shade. Then the sun went over top of me. And as the sun went away from me and it got cold again from like me sweating it out in the sun, that woke me up. And by that point, like all my friends were leaving the basketball court. But that's semi what this reminds me of. Like I've had that and I still consider that an overconsumption, but overdose, like I really associated that with dying. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting hung up on the schematic, splitting hairs or whatever. And LSD, I can totally see them saying you overdosed in that, like overconsumed, I would say more so, but yeah, he just overdosed. He took too much of a dose. Like he took over the dose you could have had. You took 2 or 3 tabs when you should have only taken 1. I get it. That I can understand that too. So maybe I'm saying maybe it is just me interpreting it wrong.
I have smoked marijuana many times since I was 15 years old and have never been able to get high.
Damn.
Based on my tolerance to prescription medications, alcohol, etc., I determined I just had a very high tolerance.
He about to do too much. You can hear it already.
But I have heard weed can help with migraines.
Foreshadow.
And I was interested in trying some edibles to see if it could help the pain. I obtained a 100 milligram weed brownie, and having never used edibles before, I asked an acquaintance, who I thought knew more about weed than he actually does, how much of it should I eat? He knows my usual high tolerance for things, and he told me to eat all of it.
Shit.
This was a very bad thing to do.
You think?
I had a normal day, ate a regular meal for dinner, and about 2 hours later at 10:30, I ate the 100 milligram brownie. I felt nothing until 11:30 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
11:30 p.m.
And it all hit you at once like a brick house.
I was slightly dizzy. I felt like 10 minutes had passed in the span of 30 seconds. I had some trouble concentrating.
I can relate.
Worried and was just getting a grasp on feeling weird.
Getting a grasp on feeling weird.
I lost all sense of time. 2 minutes.
I'm sorry, that was too good. I lost all sense of time. Yeah, definitely. That is pretty much a byproduct of doing something like that. But hold on. What the fuck did he say? Oh, I forgot. I forgot that was funny as shit. I was like, you put that on a t-shirt. Okay, come on, baby. Please be good at this. Where we at? Alright, let's hope.
Grasp on feeling weird.
Oh, getting a grasp on feeling weird.
I lost all sense of time.
Getting a grasp on feeling weird. You put that on a t-shirt. That was good. I was like, what? And I can relate to that. Like, okay, this is just like being too drunk more so than being too high. Well, like, okay, this is just how it is. I gotta learn to adapt. I gotta adjust. I guess like walking again when you break your legs or like lose a toe or
2
something.
minutes would pass in between a conversation I had with my husband, and I thought it happened 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
My concentration was worsening, and I was beginning to feel really dizzy and starting.
Yes, all of these do.
11:50 p.m.
All of these sound like
I started feeling nauseous, and I couldn't stay
mushroom or
on my own
LSD
feet
trips
very
more
long.
than
I decided
weed.
to lay down and thought the feeling would pass.
But I can believe that that's true for the fact that like when I was a teenager, one of the ladies in the office of the place I worked at, she like really hated weed. Just about everybody in there smoked weed. She was like, hate the smell. She would like always say that. Well, then I found out she told a story of what happened to her. She tried smoking weed when she was like 17, 18 or something like that. And she like had to go to the hospital. She got all red. She was probably an episode similar to something I had, but you know, I've had, by the point that I was passing out off of weed, I had hundreds of experiences with it, that and alcohol. So I kind of understood that, yeah, this might not go well every time. That being her first experience, and she's getting like the sativa paranoia because she was older. It probably would have been like the 70s, early 80s. So it would have been land-raised weed, and I could see her like freaking out, plus being allergic to it, getting all red. She talked about it, and they had to take her to the hospital. So if that's your first experience, I can understand kind of why you hate weed. But that's also why I want to believe these people. Maybe it's some sort of like allergic reaction, mixing with like a low tolerance, having a bad day, you know, not eating enough, so on and so forth, blood sugar, blah, blah, blah. I want to believe it, but yeah, these sound way more like LSD trips than they do hash oil stories. I got to give it to you there, not giving. Gotta give it to you, not giving.
This is when it seemed like the floodgates opened. Everything spiraled out of control. I sat up and suddenly had to vomit.
Okay.
I was very hot and starting to sweat. Dizziness was out of control, and I couldn't look at anything for more than a second.
Now, definitely that. Yeah, like the head magnet. It's like your head's got to get to the table, or like put in your arms or put in your knees, and you just kind of stuck there. Like it's a magnet. It's hard to pull your head from wherever it's laying down at.
My eyes were very sensitive, and my concentration was completely gone. I felt as if I wasn't in my own body. That
I'm
is,
not surprised.
until I needed to retch again. 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. This was the peak of my experience, and the worst I have felt in my entire life.
He really recorded this.
I was
It's
passing out
scientific.
intermittently between vomiting and crying. My entire body was numb, and I couldn't move from my position on the floor, hovering over a trash can. I felt like I couldn't even concentrate enough to breathe. I was worried I would stop breathing and not be able to help it. I wasn't having any hallucinations or paranoid thoughts other than the ones related to the way I was feeling. I couldn't open my eyes to look at anything, and it was an extreme chore to put together a sentence. I vomited more than I even thought was possible, and the retching was so strong, I thought my head was going to explode. 2 a.m. I was finally able to sleep around this time. I stopped throwing up, and I was somewhat less dizzy. It started getting easier to control my breathing, and instead of being hot, I was suddenly freezing. I still could not move from where I was sitting. 6 a.m. I awoke to see the sun starting to come up behind the blinds, and found that I was still on the floor. I was able to open my eyes finally, and look around the room without it spinning out of control. I could concentrate again and could feel my body enough to move. I had an excruciating headache, but I was able to crawl into bed. I felt hungover, and the headache lingered well into that evening. I didn't feel like I was totally starting to recover until about 24 hours after I initially ingested the THC brownie.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like an acid trip.
Afterward, my entire body was sore, and it even hurt to cough. I have given birth twice, the first time being all natural and pain med-free, and this brownie eating experience trumps that as the most horrifying thing I've ever experienced.
Oh man. Yeah, these all sound like acid trip. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong button. Craps. Let's see if I can get us back to where we was at. We was at story 4, correct? So hopefully that's right around here. I hope I don't miss it. Please be able to catch it so I can actually see the title and know what we at. Come on, baby. No, I'm not going to know. I'm not that nice. Because this is going multiple frames versus every frame. I screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up.
Than the ones related to the way I was feeling. I couldn't open my eyes to look at anything, and it was an extreme chore to put together a sentence.
Okay, I kind of remember this.
It started getting easy. My new lady friend and I should have stopped at the simple joint we shared in a quiet spot near the entrance of the colorful...
I think this is story 4. Can I make it?
You don't know what you've got.
Okay, can I make it?
Here's why.
Okay, trying to get it.
I feel like I was totally starting to recover until about 24 hours after I initially ingested the tea.
Okay.
The first time being all natural and pain med-free, and this brownie eating experience trumps that. The first time being all natural and pain med-free, and this brownie eating experience trumps that as the most horrifying
technical
thing
difficulties,
I've ever
you dummy.
experienced.
Yes, I made it. Okay, thank you. Let me get out of this real quick because the story is killing me. It's good, but it's killing me. And let us. Well, first off, I didn't really do this. I want to thank everybody for being here.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with me today.
Oh, yeah. You too, lady. Every one of y'all.
And I appreciate it. We're going to finish up the rest of the video, but I figured it'd be nice to do a little palate cleanse. Fire it up.
Lows and heights. That's right, but that's life. Right now, everything is feeling all right. Everything is feeling all right. I'ma get it.
There we go. Just so we can fire it up, smoke time. Get our head back in the game, baby. Listen to this last little story because I don't know what the hell is this AI. Is this like, I don't know, like the voice is just like putting me down. But I'm just fascinated by what the details of what's going on. So my heart rate's up like this, but mine's like, my body's telling me no. Going through one of them situations. Shoot, okay, so let's get back into this. We're going to finish this up.
I like smoking pot, but I've grown wary of eating it.
And I love it. Me too. Don't eat it.
It comes on slower and lasts longer. You don't know what you've got until it's too late. Usually, it makes for a nice day, yet sometimes it feels heavier, but not enlightening. Worse, it can be dangerous, as I had to endure twice. My new lady friend and I should have stopped at the simple joint we shared in a quiet spot near
He
the
was so
entrance of
right.
the colorful yearly festival. Smoking pot is still illegal in our state, hard to hide, and we didn't want to risk offending the festival. So
hold on. The mint leaf things, you're talking about smoking it, right? Like, people used to put PCP, well, what, embalming fluid on weed, but I heard originally, I guess a little before my little street time, it was on mint leaves. And yeah, PCP, we call it love boat, the butt naked. It gets you stuck. It make you take your clothes off, I guess, because your body's overheating and you're trying to cool off, and you just out your mind. So that's what a lot of this more so reminds me of than anything else. And you're right, there's so much people can put in your stuff.
At about noon, we each ate a brownie from a batch I had made last year from a plant in my yard. All was well until about an hour later when it started to hit my new friend. She is small and sensitive, so I had given her less than half of what I took. I had tried various sizes from the batch since last fall, so
Trying to be noble.
Dose.
Didn't work out.
Her eyes looked dilated and depressed, not focused.
Mm-hmm.
She then started descending into the worst case of a THC overdose I have ever seen.
Oh shit.
It was worse than a notorious birthday party of years past when someone
Notorious
brought a new
B.I.G.
untested batch of pot brownies. Most people had one, but I had two. Turns out, one was about 8 doses worth of THC. Everyone got sick. Some slurred their words and couldn't walk well. The 2 bathrooms were constantly busy with small groups helping each other expel explosively from both ends. People were screaming. It was the worst party ever. Funny now for the survivors, only in retrospect. We all resolved to go easy with new batches of edible pot. It's too bad I didn't heed that lesson. I wanted to augment the already wonderful experience at the fair. Not wise. Buddha says, desire is the mother of suffering. How true that was for us.
Damn.
I was okay, mildly high and dry mouth, but my dear friend went into painful hallucinations between blackouts.
Hold on, is that another t-shirt? So desire is the mother of what? Desire is the mother of create? I forgot. Well, because I'm trying to remember the t-shirt one. The getting used to being weird. Acclimated to being weird. I forgot. I gotta come back and watch the replay.
Trying to reassure her that it will pass. She had trusted me, and though I couldn't figure out then why or how, I knew it was my fault. What is this shit? She screamed. What did you give me? It's the same as I had, only less, I replied. She would go into vacant sleep, only to emerge with her face contorted, her eyes dilated, hard fright in her expressions. She went in and out of consciousness, dipping too low, coming out only to, thankfully, in a difficult way, puke 4 times.
Damn.
I summoned the fair's clinic staff.
He heard her
We
up.
took her to the doctor. It was horrible, very hard on her. I was overcome with concern and shame. I barely noticed the bare-breasted teenage girls doing yoga just past her as she went through this whole situation.
Bare-breasted.
After a few hours resting in a noisy clinic, she had purged and rested enough to regain her legs and walk out.
Nice,
All
okay.
I saw were shoulder-to-shoulder crowds to maneuver through. We left the fair and went home. I barely saw or even remember the colorful and fun fair. Later, I remembered last year making batches of oil for the brownies, but cooking one down too much. A sticky goo didn't disperse evenly like the rest of the oil. There was ample amounts of THC in the rest of the brownies, as I had experimented with it a few times since, but perhaps there was a sticky superdose in hers. It was one of the worst, most frightening and shameful experiences of my life.
She got a triple
I was
dose.
stupid and irresponsible to not toss that sticky clump out of the mix, or to at least only give her a little piece, if any at all. It would have been a beautiful day had we not eaten those damn brownies.
Oh, man.
She and I are okay now, but I have a confirmed wariness towards edible marijuana. It comes on too slow, so the dose is a mystery until it's too late. Smoking is faster, brighter, and very hard to overdo, as I have tried many times, but it's also harder to hide. So, once again, our laws are alienating us from our police, our festivals, and our would-be should-be safer habits.
Golf clap. That was actually really good, I thought. I thought that was really, really good. And now we back at it again. I can't hear the music, baby. And now we back. Now that to me was the most believable story. And it was actually the best story. That's what I was trying to say. You pop mint leaf, okay. And I guess that's like Sherm or whatever, same way. Like, yeah, you really see things. It's really a trip. So I've experienced something similar, except mine happened in school. I was fine until like we didn't have weed for like a week or 2 weeks. The only thing we had access to was boat. So some of my friends weren't buying it because they was like, yeah, because of it being stuck and having a bad experience. I was like, oh, I'm fine. I don't have no problem with boat. Like, if that's what it's going to take to get me through, like, Friday or Saturday, because that's when he was supposed to re-up. All right, cool, I can do it. And that Friday came, the head magnet. I actually ended up having to be sent home because apparently I was, like, disruptive in the class. So they suspended me for the day, but, like, it wouldn't go on my record or whatever. So I've had my fair share of, like, yeah, the mint leaves, what you say, your pop mint leaf. Oh man, yeah, buddy. And I have done acid before. I've done shrooms before. Like, I definitely enjoy doing that. And I guess really, it would be more like a microdose thing. I would kind of do that myself. Apparently, you're supposed to take an eighth for shrooms all at once, but I would break them down into 2 doses just so I wouldn't like go too crazy and overdose or overconsume. But this seemed like, these people, a lot of the stories we heard earlier, the hash oil stories, and it's like the people were overdoing it. Now that clump of, I thought that was a good story because it gave the beginning, the middle, and the end basically wrapped up how we got to the beginning in the first place. So that's why I thought it was the best story overall. He had some hash brownies. Went to a concert, gave something to somebody who don't really do it too much. He remembered when he made the batch, it was like clumps. It's a bad mix. She might have got part of the bad mix. Everything would have been fine. They hadn't indulged in the brownies, so there was a lesson learned in there. And that kind of gives you the reason why he was saying in the beginning, I don't like using brownies. I smoke plenty of flower and it's no problem. And I think you have a lot more control when you smoking flower too. I mean, you can just back up off the joint a couple times, but like same thing with acid. Like you take edibles. That was why I didn't mess with them. Once you on the roller coaster, there ain't no getting off this bad boy. But now I guess, I don't know if it's building up a tolerance or learning how to basically low dose and build myself up. Or just getting better control of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the main reason I want to do that is because I realized that we about to get to beer number 3. But first I gotta finish beer number 2, which is this. And because it's a Sunday, it's Memorial Day, so I might be wrong, but I'm willing to bet I'm not.
Got a higher body count than yours.
Well, should I add this to your body count?
There we go. And this is probably my favorite beer ever. Biden Oktoberfest. A Marzahn Oktoberfest, and we're gonna see how dark this is compared to the other two beers, which are a lot lighter. And the main takeaway from the three beers that we had here, those are my three favorite beer styles: a Helles, a Pilsner, and the Oktoberfest. Now look at that. A lot more copper color, I'd say, a dark copper, kind of like an amberish, a dark amber, a dark orange. Love my orange beer, baby. There's a lot more malty, a lot more sulfury of a yeast. Yeah, I can smell that yeast in the head of the beer. It's gonna be a lot sweeter than those other two. And it's a little higher alcohol content. I realized the Germans are cheating. The Helles is like, what, 4.2 to 4.6% alcohol. The Pilsner is 4.6 to 5% alcohol. And Oktoberfest is like 5.2 to like 6.2% alcohol. So they're under the ABV of most American beers. And I'm like, oh, no wonder you can drink liters of that stuff. It's smooth, light-bodied. It is basically like water, except you're getting some kind of nutrient out of it. Some kind of nourishment. That's what I was trying to say. There we go. The first time I ever had this was at a bar. They had it on tap. And, oh, man. This is some greatness. So boom, my eyeballs are starting to float, but bam, there you go. That's the body count. Boom, boom, boom. Step it up, step it up, step it up. Oh yeah, you can't see it in the chat, I forgot. You can't see the body count, yeah, because of the chat. Can you? Yeah, nah, you can't. I moved the chat over, so let me move the chat actually. Just so you can see the body count. Not that anybody's counting or anything. There we go. So if I move the chat, let me pick it back up. Okay, so if I bring in chat today, but it's right on my face now. Yeah, it's gotta stay here. Sorry, Bruce. You gotta miss out. Yeah, my homie, we gotta see my homie drinking. There we go. Yeah, we gotta see my homie drinking right there. I'm happy with that. Let me lock in the chat so I don't have to move it. So boom. Where we at? Oh, perfect timing. So we can end it on a good note. What did I want to see? What did I even have for this mofo? What did I have? What did I even get? I know, so, oh, yeah. I just grabbed something for that. It's a little stand-up routine. I don't know if this is going to get me hit or not. Matter of fact, I'm sure it is. The name of this comedian looks familiar. I think we had captured some of his smoking weed comedy before, and they copyright struck us. So I'm still gonna go for it, because I think that's what I had planned for this week. I do have something else, but I think I prefer to kind of actually see that, to be quite honest. I know that's gonna get me hit up automatically. Yeah, I don't really want to stay for the beer pong because my son is going to be upset. He's trying to go to the pool. Memorial Day, of course. Here we go. So we knock it out concentrated. Okay, so oh shoot, I got that larger screen. I was wondering, oh man, I don't see this dude nowhere. There we go. So now we got it. Boom, everything is set up, everything is ready, everything is good. Oh, I didn't change the body count. I don't want to be no lie. 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 Come on now. There we go. Everything is good. Everything is going according to plan. And we have learned how to make hash oil, or RSO, Rich Simpson oil. We heard some horror stories about some hash oil. We heard some crazy edible stories. I guess that's the same content creator. Just look up crazy edible stories, crazy hash stories. Yeah, a lot of them I don't believe. I don't know if they, LSD or fentanyl. I ain't know what to expect. PCP, I don't know what's going on. And not knowing the time frame of when these incidents happens really doesn't help. You know, say it's 2010 or this is 1996. We could kind of lock down a little bit better which drug they were using. So unfortunately, we can't do that. But it was entertaining to me just to kind of hear what can be done or the effects that other people might go through. Because at this, I guess, way early in the stage of the game, except for liquor. Once I got about, I say 17, I had mastered everything that was to the drugs I was going to use. Like at that point, it was just, weed and alcohol. And yeah, I realized, all right, a 40 and a blunt, there's a reason that they rapping about that. So yeah, 40 will kind of do it, and a couple blunt, I could smoke a little bit more, but yeah, that'll pretty much do it. And realistically, in a course of 3 hours, 40 ounces isn't that much. Now, yeah, if I'm sitting there trying to glug, 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 yeah, it's probably going to be a bit much. But yeah, that's really what, let's see, 3 divided into 4, and 10, so 9. So yeah, every 20 minutes, I pretty much can get a third of it. And that's about right, yeah. No, not every 20 minutes. Yeah. Like every 20 minutes, yeah, 20 minutes, like an hour. Yeah, that's not bad, I would say. No, that is bad. That's 20. My math is wrong. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, and apparently not a mathematician either. But I love weed and I love growing it. And I definitely
I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with me today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You two ladies, every one of y'all.
I definitely want to thank y'all for being here. I enjoy myself. Don't forget, if you want to support the show, donate, CashApp, and the PayPal is on the bottom, whichever is convenient for you. But thank you very much for being here. And something that doesn't cost you a thing is hitting that like button. This was a very mellow Sunday, very nice Memorial Day. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves and they're going to enjoy that day off on Monday, hopefully. Or either if you work a Monday, you get to enjoy this day off. I remember them days when I used to cut hair. Like, I already had Monday off. This ain't no hookup for me. But relax. I know it's sunny out there. One day at a time. Don't let this pass you by. This is the beautiful part of the year. Everything is green. Because if you just let it slip through your fingers, it's going to be cold and everything going to be falling off the trees and it's going to be time to harvest. And like, dang, I guess it's all over. Like, what do I do now? Enjoy the sun. Enjoy your plants. Enjoy the outdoors. Enjoy your time. Just enjoy yourself. We're going to get into the good old portion of this, which is what's his name? Dave Wolf, Tom Wolf. I believe we had seen him before when he was at the DC doing comedy during the Cannabis Cup competition. What the hell is it? The DC Cannabis Cup. He had done a comedy set and he was very high, almost too high to do the comedy set. Now we discovered it from him doing another comedy set, referring back to that comedy set. The next week we went back and saw that comedy set. He literally wasn't playing. It was really a rough show as far as dead air goes. But you could clearly, it was entertaining to see him just go through as much like pain and paranoia and I guess having the head magnets, but in public. So he's talking about his son ate his weed. Let's get into this and see how this is going to go. I don't want to say anything. 3, 2. You quit drinking a long time ago. I understand. Like, really, I drank liquor for a while, and I gave that up pretty early. I mean, quite honestly, what, about 26? I stopped drinking liquor, and I probably stopped. I drank before I smoked. So I guess I was like 13, drank a lot of beer, had some liquor in between there, because that's all we had at the time. Certain days. But liquor was always just too nasty to me. It was like, it burned my throat. It was too much, you know, being 13, 14. By the time I got to 15 and like gin and juice and all that, because I was maybe 16 at that point, I was like, yeah, I can drink liquor, it's no problem. Yeah, it was a problem. It still burnt and everything, and it didn't do me too good, especially by the time I got 21. Oh, man, I would come around with a half gallon of Seagram's gin, and a liter of a bottle of Jack Daniels. Well, I'd buy Evans Williams, not Jack Daniels, but basically, you know, it was pretty much the same, trying to be the same thing. And yeah, about a year or two of that, like, yeah, this ain't really my thing because I get wasted too quick. I like smoking blunts and smoking because I like smoking, so I want it to be a long duration of time. I like drinking because I like drinking. I don't want to have a drink this, like, boom. All right, now I'm fucked up for like the next 40 minutes. And what do I do now? I'm thirsty. So having a beer slows me down and it also satiates me from what I actually want. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm going to pull back on that. I guess what brought me back into it was these summer days. Growing and having a channel like that kind of upped me up, got me in the mood. I almost feel like y'all is here with me, so I feel like, yeah, I'm drinking at the bar or drinking in my homie living room, smoking it out. So it puts me in the mood to do it. But the record for the body count has only been 3? I think 3. The body count has been as high as 3, and we've been drinking beer number 4. When the show has been going off, but ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's people who don't smoke anymore. Like shit, Willie Nelson, he just does edibles. You know, he's like the smoke icon, I thought. Tommy Chong's the same way, don't smoke no more, just does the edibles. So I don't really care what you do, just as long as you do something. Like as long as you're willing to do the social drugs, the weed and the alcohol, quit alcohol, no problem. Some people don't even do alcohol, that's fine. You don't have to really smoke either. But it's really more so about gardening. Anything that I show in here is, I try and show the good side and the bad side of everything. And this show was a good representation of that to me, at least. Showing the hash on in the beginning, how you can make RSO oil, their method of making it in the video that we saw. The benefits of it, how they just get the raw hash oil itself, or RSO, Rick Simpson oil, how to put it into gel caps, and then also they told us how to make a dessert. That was pretty positive, I thought. Then right after that, we went and showed crazy hash oil stories. And some of them were like really unbelievable, like Not Given was saying, it seemed more so to me like these was acid trips or PCP stories gone wild versus having a bad brownie. But we got to hear that as well. Then we got to hear, having a bad brownie. The crazy edible stories. And so let's see. The second video had 4 stories. I believe the first one had 3. So out of 7 stories, I believe the 7th story that we heard was the best one. The way it was formatted, the way it was structured, it really seemed like an actual public story to me. There was a, I guess, thesis or main statement. Hey, I don't like edibles. Went into the story of, the beginning. Hey, I made these brownies. I went with this girl to the carnival. This happened to her, blah, blah, blah. Everything would have been good had I not given her the brownies, or at least warned her a little better. Boom. So that was a moral to the story. And then it was an ending. Yeah, it was a rough night. We're still cool and everything, but that's the reason I don't like brownies. So boom, full circle, went back to the beginning statement, the thesis of, I don't necessarily like brownies. I like flour a lot better. And I guess it's just me. I'm on a flour kick. My wife smokes with me, but like she said, she just does that to hang out because she prefers the vape pen and eating it more so. So all of this concentrates and hash oil and everything that I make is basically in I guess an homage to her, like the stuff that she likes to keep her in the game, baby. You were 13 in 1971, okay, and damn. Let me see, what the hell was I at 13? Oh, okay, so you're 20 years older than me, because I think I was 13 in 1991. Yeah, like 13, 14 in 91. I graduated in 1995. So what, like 91, 92, 92, 93, 93, 94, 94, 95. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that would be that. So okay, yeah. I was like, damn, I gotta do more math. I already sucked it up the first time on camera. Don't clip that. But I'm actually jealous of that. The same way I guess kids are jealous of my era growing up. It was a lot more free. It was a lot more optimism out there. And I guess at that point, so what, that would make you 13 and 71. So 80 was 9. So you'd have been 21 and 80. Nice. Okay. I'm sure your 21 and 80 you was riding high. It had to be a good time. A good feeling. I know the economy was kind of bad, so I wonder about that, but I know as far as things you could do in the black market, that was a lot more available. You still travel, I guess, the hippie trail and things like that. So I look at that kind of enviously. I don't know how it really was, but sorry. I'm so sorry. I look at it like, damn, you really got a chance to kind of be free. You could go to a place and it wasn't overpopulated. That's just me thinking. And I guess I'm basing that off of TV and movies. So, you know, it could be dumb me falling for the propaganda. But I do want to thank everybody. And let's get ready to laugh. I'm optimistic about it. Matter of fact, before we even do that, I usually roll 3 J's before the show. And it's J number 3. We're going to go in smoke time. So we did that, right? Oh, we didn't do this. Yeah, just to cleanse our palate real quick. And I hope that wakes everybody up, gets everybody pumped up. Let's get it going, get ready to laugh at dude real quick. And let's do this thing, man. So stuff. Holy shit, dude. You hurt my feelings with that one. Jeez. It hurt me. Let me turn this down a little bit before we go into it. I didn't mean to blast you out.
The fact that weed is legal in California. And
Okay, cool.
It's recreational here. I will say, the one thing I don't like that you can be 18 and get your medical license. I think it should be 21 across the board. Mostly because I have older kids and I'm handing one of my sons in my weed store.
Oh, shit. He has a weed store.
I go, hey, man. And he goes, oh, hey. What are you doing here? And he goes, I think the same thing you're doing here, right?
Right?
And then he put his wallet away. I go, what are you doing? He goes, well, you're here. You're mine, right?
You're mine. Here you are, dude.
We didn't just leave your Little League game, man. You know what I mean? This isn't Baskin and Robbins. I'm not buying you 3 scoops of OG Kush, motherfucker. That's not how this works. Is he here? Is he here? He's not here? Okay. He's here. He's in the back. I gotta tell you a story he hates, okay? Okay. So, one night, I had my eggs in my drawer, and he stole them. Now, I will tell you, my wife said, how do you know he stole them? And I said, you clearly don't do drugs. Yo, anybody who does Xanax knows exactly how many fucking bars are in that bottle at your house right now. Like, if you do drugs and someone moves something, you're like, who the fuck moved that? Who the fuck moved that? So, he stole one of my Chiba Chews, okay? Now listen, he's used to like a 70 milligrams quad dose. I eat the decade.
Right?
So he doesn't know what the fuck he's getting into. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just go down. Maybe I'll just go down and see if he's high or if he's taking it yet. So I go down into his room. I open the door, and he's shirtless.
Oh shit.
On his bed, doing this. I go, what are you doing, man? He goes, just trying to figure something out.
Now, just from my own personal experience, I learned from probably 20 seasons of Cops. When white dudes take their shirt off, they feeling free. They ready to flex their Second Amendment rights. And yeah, I can't be held back. I need to be loose. Hell no. Just trying to figure stuff out, Dad. And the shirt off, I need to be free to do it. No holding back, no restriction.
And I go, what? He goes, oh, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't understand.
What do you mean, mother? I totally understand.
I go, why did you try me? And he was like, oh, it was gonna sound crazy.
Go for it.
Try me. And he goes, well, the first thing I need to know is, can you hear this?
Can you hear it? You know he's twisted. Oh my goodness, crazy. Oh, can you hear this? I've been talking for 5 minutes. Hey, can you hear this? Oh, he is baked. He is baked.
I cannot. He goes, well, then you can't help me.
Then you can't help me. Mother, you can't help me, Dad. Dad, I'm scared.
So his head's been down this whole time. And I go to him, I go, hey man, stop for a second. Stop and just talk to me. And you know when you're that high and you're doing something this weird, I mean, for all he knows, like he thinks he's saving the world just by doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
he's saving the world, baby.
Stop for a second, man. He goes, uh-oh.
Yeah, me too.
I should. It's gonna be fine. It was all good.
I just like getting high. Oh,
like Jack Nicholson had just been dumped in that vat of chemicals in Batman. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's all the stuff I put for the show. That's interesting.
And I go, how's it going? He goes, pretty
what are you doing? He was like, you know, just hanging out. And I go, hey, did you steal one of my edibles? He goes, I don't know what that is. I go, an edible is food with weed in it.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
He said, I'd like to try one of those someday. I'm like, I bet you would. I go, you didn't steal one of my edibles? He goes, no, I know. I go, you didn't steal it? He goes, no, I didn't steal it. And then I look down his trash can, and the fucking wrapper is right there in this.
You're a kid, you gonna say that.
And he goes, I'm so glad.
He's a kid. You're like, yeah, you're gonna fight or flight or whatever. You're gonna flight. No, it wasn't me. No, I ain't never do nothing. And it's right in his trash can. Yeah. Thank goodness the movies was out when I was young. They were out there like that. I remember this. This was a young memory. I was probably, 8 years old, 9 years old. I remember watching Superman. I don't know what the name of the cartoon was, Adventures of Superman. But I remember Lex Luthor had an invisible suit. And he was robbing banks with this invisible suit. So anyway, Superman got wind that, hey, banks are being robbed, and, hey, we didn't see the people because, hey, they got the invisible suit. So I remember Lex Luthor running around the corner after robbing a bank with a money bag in his hand, pretty much like putting the money in a briefcase. He took the suit and the bank bag, put it in a trash can and set it on fire and was like, no evidence, no crime. And I'm like, oh, this is how it's done. Oh, that's what makes you Lex Luthor, because you plot. And that's what, okay, I get you now. So yeah, if you're going to do something, like if I was going to steal the edible, I would pretty much take the wrapper, put it in a bag, like wrap it in a napkin, put it in a bag, like throw it away and put it in the bottom of the trash can, like reach my arm in the bottom. Then I'd have had the edible in my pocket or something like that. So that way there wouldn't have been any evidence around there for you to look at my trash can and see what's wrong with me. I learned that at a very early age, but TV shows was different. A lot of gang stuff and whatnot. You don't talk, you don't do this, and yeah, people will pickpocket people, pull the cash out of the wallet, throw the wallet in the trash can. Oh yeah, if you don't have the wallet, they can't say you took it, and then the money is just up. It's fair game. I get you. All right.
That rapper, I'm so high, I can't fake it anymore.
Sun's slipping. Yeah, you can't fake it. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out.
He's so dumb.
I'm freaking out, man. Oh, shoot, that was it. Oh, man, yeah, take me back. It's sun. So, yeah, that was a dumb thinking I'd be having. Oh, shoot. I know you just bought this liquor and had one sip of it. If I only drink half the bottle, you'll never notice, right? You'll think you did it because it was Friday. I'll just be able to pass out with this smell of alcohol coming off my breath and sleep for 8 hours straight, and you'll never know the difference, right? Yeah, to be young and naive.